Picture yourself right now, in this exact moment. You have the ability to turn your biggest struggles into your greatest wins. You're probably wondering, how is that even possible? Let us explore Stoicism together. This ancient way of thinking has helped people succeed during tough times and stay calm when everything around them feels like it is falling apart. It has been doing this for hundreds and hundreds of years. Take a second to remember a recent time when something really tested how patient you could be, or maybe something that made you doubt yourself. What did you do in that moment? Did your emotions take over and control you, or did you make a choice that matched what you truly believe in and care about? This is exactly where Stoicism becomes so valuable. It shows us how to handle whatever life throws at us with bravery, smart thinking, and a sense of balance. Right now, we're going to look at an idea that started a long time ago but still matters just as much today in our current lives. We're talking about teaching your mind to choose how you act instead of just having automatic reactions. This isn't simply about stopping yourself from getting angry or staying relaxed when things get difficult. What we really after here is building a strong inner awareness, being fully present in the current moment so you can handle all of life, its good times and bad times, with purpose and grace. The Stoics were philosophers from ancient times who focused on ideas you could actually use in everyday life. They had strong opinions about all of this. Their main belief was this: even though we can control what happens to us, we absolutely can control how we understand those events and how we decide to respond to them. What Stoicism shows us is to put our energy into the things we can actually control. It encourages us to let go of our attachment to outside events and instead stay grounded in our own thoughtful decisions. This ancient wisdom from the Stoics can motivate us to stop for a moment, think things through, and pick an action that comes from careful thought and clear intention, instead of acting on impulse without thinking. But you might be asking, why does this even matter? Well, just think about how much of your stress, your regrets, and your frustration comes from instant reactions to what other people say or do. Now picture this instead. What if you could stay calm, stay focused, and stay thoughtful, even when everything happening around you is the complete opposite? This goes way beyond just feeling more peaceful in your own mind. We're talking about becoming someone who is more capable, more caring, and more able to bounce back from setbacks. These are qualities that don't just change your own life. They change the lives of everyone you interact with. As we talk today, we're going to look at different techniques that come from both current psychological science and ancient Stoic philosophy. These will help you build this kind of thoughtful mindset. I'll discuss how to develop mindfulness, why it is so important to recognize your emotions and express them in healthy ways, and how to keep your eyes on the big picture, something the Stoics were really good at. When we finish our discussion, we're going to have a collection of practical strategies. These tools will help you stop and take a breath, look at the situation clearly, and respond in a thoughtful way to anything that comes your way in life. So let's start this journey together. We'll learn how to root ourselves in the wisdom that Stoicism offers and tap into our mind, this ability to choose how we respond. This will change our experiences and how we connect with others, making everything better. As we continue our exploration of responding instead of just reacting, we're re-entering territory where every single thought and every action comes from a deliberate choice. This reflects the deep teachings found in Stoicism. The Stoics, those respected wise teachers from ancient Greece and Rome, had a view of life that works surprisingly well in this busy, non-stop world. What they taught was the importance of controlling your emotions and your reactions. They stressed that real power comes from our ability to choose how we respond to any situation we face. So why is it so critical to develop a thoughtful response instead of an instant knee-jerk reaction? Let's say you're sitting in a stressful meeting, or you're dealing with a personal problem. The typical human instinct is often to react without thinking, pushed forward by a sudden wave of emotion. This kind of reaction might feel natural, but it rarely works out well for us when we look at the long-term effects. It can make conflicts bigger, damage our relationships, and push us toward decisions we wish we hadn't made later. This is where the wisdom of the Stoics really becomes clear. The Stoics thought we should live in harmony with nature and use our reasoning abilities. They believed in a life where every action follows virtue and logical thinking. When we embrace this philosophy, we learn to notice our first impulses, look at them with clear rational thinking, and pick a path forward that lines up with what we truly value and what we want to achieve in the long run. Choosing to respond instead of react means taking a pause when something triggers you. It is about pulling back so you can observe not just what is happening outside of you, but also what is happening inside you, your internal response. This moment of reflection gives you space to think about different possible outcomes and select one that is reasonable, well-balanced, and most importantly, within your power to control. When you practice this Stoic way of living, you're not pushing down your emotions or acting like they aren't there. What you're actually doing is recognizing them, understanding where they come from, and then making a conscious decision about whether and how they should affect what you do next. This approach gives you power to engage with the world around you in a way that keeps your inner peace and your personal integrity intact, no matter what is going on externally. But the importance of responding instead of reacting goes further than just your own personal peace of mind. It affects how good your relationships are, how well you can lead others, and how strong you are when facing tough situations. When you take the time to respond thoughtfully, you showing respect, showing that you understand where others are coming from, and showing empathy for what they've been through and how they see things. This creates interactions that are more meaningful and actually help move things forward in a positive way. Starting a life-changing journey to train your mind takes more than just wanting to do it. You need to put in focused effort over time, similar to what the Stoics practiced and recommended. These philosophers from long ago give us insights that never get old, and we can use them as a foundation for our modern efforts to build a mind that responds thoughtfully instead of reacting automatically. Let us start by looking at self-awareness, which is a fundamental building block of Stoic philosophy. The Stoics put a lot of emphasis on looking inward and getting to know your own thoughts and what drives you. In our situation, this means developing a sharp awareness of what is going on in your mind and your emotions. When you aware of what you rethinking and feeling, you're in a much better position to handle these things effectively. This increased level of self-awareness helps you notice when emotional reactions are starting to happen, and it gives you that all-important first step you need to pick a different response, one that comes from careful thought. Now let's look at the practice of pausing. It's simple, but it is incredibly powerful. Marcus Aurelius was a Stoic and also an emperor, and he talked a lot about the gap that exists between something happening to you and how you respond to it. That gap is where your power to choose your actions lies. When we build a habit of pausing, even if it's just for a couple of seconds, we create an opportunity to pull ourselves back from those instant impulses we feel. You can fill this pause with taking a deep breath, with thinking for a moment, or with a quick meditation. It is during this pause that you can check in with your inner Stoic self, asking yourself what the right thing to do is in this moment and what response matches up with your best, highest self. Another really important strategy is changing how we look at things, reframing our perspective. This is a technique the Stoics relied on to stay balanced when dealing with difficult situations. What it means is deliberately deciding to look at a situation from another angle, one that makes it less emotionally charged and shows you other ways you could handle it. For example, let's say you have a difficult situation at work. Instead of looking at it as something threatening you, you could reframe it as a chance to grow and show how resilient you are. When we change the story we tell ourselves, we change how we feel emotionally, and that opens up new options for what we can do. On top of that, the Stoics strongly believed in putting your focus on what you can control and releasing your grip on what you can't control. When we practice this principle, we figure out how to spend our energy in smart ways. We respond actively to our own thoughts and our own actions, while we accept outside events as they happen. This doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing or not caring. What it really means is understanding where your actual power is and choosing to take action there with purpose and honesty. Last but not least, the practice of regularly thinking about your actions and making adjustments is essential for training your mind. The Stoics made it a habit to examine themselves every day, looking at their actions and checking their progress toward living virtuously. In the same way, we can finish each day by thinking back on how we responded to things. We can celebrate the times when we succeeded in choosing thoughtful actions, and we can learn from the times when we slip back into just reacting without thinking. This continuous process of looking at yourself and improving helps you develop a responsive mindset and builds up the wisdom and balance that Stoicism values so much. When we weave these strategies into our everyday lives, we're not just honoring what the Stoics left behind. We're also giving ourselves the power to live with more purpose, more calmness, and more effectiveness. Through practicing consistently, we change our minds, steering them toward responses that show what we value most deeply and what we hope to become. At its heart, mindfulness is about developing a deep awareness of what is happening right now, in this moment. It is about watching our thoughts, our emotions, and what we sensing physically without passing judgment on any of it. This lets us gain understanding about what these things are really like and how they affect us. When we practice mindfulness, we redoing the same thing the Stoics tried to do. Live with awareness and on purpose, planting ourselves solidly in the present moment, which is the only time we actually have the power to do anything. One practical way to build mindfulness is through exercises where you focus your attention, like meditation focused on breathing. All you do is watch your breath, paying attention to each time you breathe in and each time you breathe out. This develops your ability to keep your attention where you want it and bring it back to what you refocusing on when your mind drifts away. This practice isn't just about feeling relaxed. It is actually a training space for your mind, making you better at concentrating and staying present even when life is full of things trying to distract you and throw challenges your way. Another important practice is mindful observation, and you can apply this to anything you do during your day, turning it into a chance to practice mindfulness. It doesn't matter if you eating, walking, or even doing boring everyday tasks. You can practice being completely involved with what you doing, looking at every part of it with curiosity and an open mind. This doesn't just make the experience itself richer and more meaningful. It also makes you stronger at staying focused and being responsive in all kinds of different situations. Body scan meditation is one more powerful mindfulness technique that helps you become more aware of your body and more present. You do this by carefully moving your attention through different parts of your body. This not only helps you feel more connected to your physical body, but it also teaches you to notice and let go of tensions and emotions that have been stored up. This practice connects with the Stoic idea of thinking about what physical experiences are really like and remembering that we shouldn't let them control our rational, thinking minds too much. Bringing mindfulness into how we interact with other people can also completely change our relationships and how we communicate. When we fully present with others, really listening carefully and watching without judging, we create deeper understanding and connection. This practice lines up with the Stoic value of empathy and recognizing that other people are also rational beings who are working their way through their own challenges and experiences. When we take on these mindfulness practices, we walking down the same path the Stoics walked, a path that takes us toward more clarity, more peace, and more effectiveness in what we do. As we develop a mindful presence, we giving ourselves the tools we need to handle life, its challenges that are bound to come our way, and we can face them with grace, wisdom, and a sense of calm. We living out the best of what a Stoic-inspired life really means. Now let's shift our attention to actually using this newfound mindfulness and these Stoic insights in practical ways. Our goal is to build a lifestyle where thoughtfully responding takes center stage and pushes aside those automatic reactive impulses. This journey of putting response over reaction into practice isn't just about holding back your natural reflexes. What it's really about is making your involvement with life richer and more meaningful, mirroring the Stoic virtue of living with clear intention and logical thinking. To actually live out the principles we've been talking about, it is critical to set up daily practices that strengthen the skill of responding. Picture yourself dealing with a tough situation. Maybe it's a disagreement with someone at work, or maybe it's an unexpected problem that just popped up. Your first impulse might be to react with emotion, pushed along by frustration or feeling let down. But this is exactly the moment to use that Stoic-inspired training we've been developing. Stop and think about the bigger picture. Ask yourself this question: what would a Stoic philosopher do? This question isn't telling you to stuff your emotions down and pretend they don't exist. Instead, it is asking you to bring your rational, thinking mind into the picture. Look at the situation without letting emotions cloud your judgment, and figure out what constructive responses are available to you. What we're doing here isn't getting rid of emotions altogether. We redirecting them in productive ways, using our reasoning to work through them. It's about admitting to yourself what you feeling, figuring out what set off those feelings, and then, with a clear head and a calm state of mind, deciding on the best path forward that matches up with what you value and what you are trying to achieve. In real, practical terms, this might look like taking a short walk to clear your head before you reply to an email that got under your skin. Or it could mean doing a deeper dive into what is really bothering you about a conflict, looking for the real issues underneath instead of just reacting to the annoying stuff on the surface. Every single time you make the choice to respond instead of react, you remaking that pattern of thoughtful engagement with life. This challenge is stronger. You rebuilding resilience, and you regrowing a deeper sense of peace and satisfaction in your life. What is more, when you work this approach into your everyday routines, it has an even bigger impact. Start your day by thinking about what you intend to do, reminding yourself that you recommitted to responding thoughtfully in all different kinds of situations. Make regular journaling part of your routine so you can think back on how you responded to things. Celebrate the times you succeeded and spot the areas where you can grow. And just as importantly, embrace an attitude of always learning and adjusting, understanding that every new day brings fresh chances to practice and get even better at choosing response over reaction. When you commit to this path, you not just picking up a technique for reducing stress or handling conflicts better. You retaking on a complete way of living that reflects what the Stoics were after, virtue and wisdom. You remaking the choice to live with clear intention, lining up your actions with your highest ideals. And when you do this, you helping create a world that is more thoughtful, more compassionate, and more responsive. The journey from reacting to responding is life-changing. It calls us toward a deeper connection with who we are inside and with the world outside ourselves. It is a path that the Stoics walked with hard work and commitment. And now, with their wisdom showing us the way, we can also aim to handle life, its ups and downs with grace, with balance, and with logical thinking. We can embody the true spirit of Stoicism right here in our modern times. The core of what we've been exploring is just about managing our reactions by themselves. It is about weaving a responsive, thoughtful approach into the very fabric of how we live our lives. When we embrace what Stoicism teaches, putting our focus on what is within our control, acting with reason, and working toward virtue, we give ourselves the power to face life's challenges with more balance and more purpose. This path, inspired by the Stoics, encourages us to see every single moment as a chance to practice our dedication to responding instead of reacting. Whether we dealing with daily annoyances, major setbacks, or important decisions we need to make, each situation gives us an opportunity to live out the Stoic virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. When we consistently choose to respond in a thoughtful way, we just improve our own well-being. We also make a positive difference in the lives of the people around us. Keep this in mind. The journey toward mastering response over reaction never really ends. It is a process of constantly learning and growing. Just like the Stoics did, we have to embrace the discipline of looking at ourselves honestly, regularly checking on our progress and changing our direction when we need to. This commitment to growing as a person doesn't just bring us closer to who we want to be ideally. It also spreads outward, touching our relationships, our communities, and the bigger picture of all our connected lives. As we come to the end of this journey we've taken together, remember this: every moment is a choice. It is a chance to show the calmness, the strength to bounce back, and the wisdom that Stoicism is all about. In the big picture of life, the way you respond is like threads that make up your character. Threads that are woven with intention and purpose. Think about tomorrow morning when you wake up. You will be faced with countless moments where you can put this into practice. Maybe someone will cut you off in traffic. Maybe you'll get an email that frustrates you. Maybe a family member will say something that pushes your buttons. Each of these moments is your training ground. Each one is an opportunity to pause, breathe, and choose your response rather than letting your reaction control you. The beauty of this Stoic approach is that it doesn't require perfect execution. You're not aiming for perfection. You're aiming for progress. Some days you'll respond beautifully, with grace and wisdom. Other days you'll slip back into old patterns of reacting, and that is completely okay. What matters is that you recognize it, learn from it, and come back to your practice the next day with renewed commitment. Consider the ripple effect of your transformation. When you respond to anger with calmness, you teach others that peace is possible. When you respond to chaos with clarity, you show others that there is another way. When you respond to injustice with measured action rather than blind rage, you demonstrate that strength and thoughtfulness can coexist. Your personal practice becomes a gift to everyone you encounter. The Stoics understood something profound. We can control the weather, but we can adjust our sails. We can control what other people do or say, but we can control how we interpret it and how we choose to engage. This isn't about being passive or accepting mistreatment. It is about being strategic, intentional, and true to your values especially when circumstances are challenging. As you move forward from here, I want you to think of yourself as a student of life, always learning, always growing. The ancient Stoics saw philosophy not as an academic exercise but as a practical guide for daily living. They practiced their principles in the marketplace, in their homes, in times of war and peace. You can do the same in your modern life, in your workplace, in your relationships, in your quiet moments alone. Your commitment to this path will be tested. There will be days when responding thoughtfully feels harder than just reacting. There will be moments when you wonder if it is worth the effort. In those times, remember why you started this journey. Remember the peace you re-seeking, the person you re-becoming, the life you recreating through your choices. This isn't the end of your journey. It's just the beginning. Every day offers you a fresh start, a new opportunity to practice, to grow, to become more aligned with your highest self. The wisdom of the Stoics has survived thousands of years because it works. It's practical, it is powerful, and it is available to you right now, in this moment. Now, as we go our separate ways, I want to invite you to keep exploring. Look at your screen for videos suggesting that go even deeper into the skill of living wisely and living well. If this message resonated with you, if you found value in these Stoic principles, please subscribe to our channel. By subscribing, you recommitting to your own growth and joining a community of people who are dedicated to living with more intention, wisdom, and peace. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our insights on Stoic philosophy and practical wisdom for modern life. And here is something important. Leave a comment below sharing your thoughts. Tell us about a time when you successfully responded instead of reacted. Share your biggest challenge with this practice. Ask questions about anything that wasn't clear. Your comments create a conversation, and in that conversation, we all learn and grow together. The Stoics value dialogue and shared wisdom. Your voice matters in this community.